Today we just wanted to uncover a few different golf terms and what all do those terms actually mean when it relates to certain characteristics throughout the swing. Also provide you a little bit more information on how you can kind of relate these terms to your own golf swing and have a better understanding of what you naturally do. So the first terms I want to talk about are outside and inside. I'm going to use my hands as a reference point to this today. So my hands being where they started here, if they moved outside, that would be my hands moving towards the golf ball. So you can see here from the point where they start, they're moving out and towards the golf ball. The opposite of that would be inside. So for a golfer that has their hands moving inside, they're moving away from the golf ball and closer to their body, okay? So next terms I want to talk about is what is steep and what is flat. We use those terms all the time, but what exactly do they mean? Well, we do have steep in the golf shaft, which would be very vertical. Flat golf shaft would be more horizontal there. Okay, obviously we want something in between, preferably pointed right back at the target line or the golf ball. So that would be steep and flat as it relates to the golf shaft. Now, we also have steep with the arms and flat with the arms. So it's not just steep and flat there, we also have steep and flat with the arms. So they all kind of correlate with each other. And one thing will kind of affect the other. So there's a lot of cause and effect things that can happen in the golf swing. One of those being, I'll use the golfer that pushes the hands out as an example. So golfers that push the hands out very early in the swing, they're going to run out of room. So we run out of real estate early in the swing. We can't continue to swing outside. So what happens is the club starts to work flat and gets inside very quickly in the backswing. So because we're trying to swing this club and kind of orbit it around us the best we can, that's going to be a good example of a cause and effect thing. So hands out, club gets worked very flat. The opposite of that happens for the golfer that works their hands too far in. Club gets in, shaft gets very steep. Now, this drill here is so good. You can use alignment sticks for so much more than just laying on the ground and helping you aim. So that's why I'm using this in this video as a reference point. And if you wanted to continue that trend up to the top of your swing, you can also get a visual for, okay, is this pointed down the target line or not? Am I flat? You would be able to see the stick over here. And if you're across the line, the stick would be way over there. A classic position, if you take a video of yourself or if you check it in a mirror, a classic position for this would be that when you took it up to the top, after you checked it here, pointed at the ball, you wouldn't be able to see the club head because your hands would be hiding it. So it doesn't have to be exactly perfect. If it was kind of in this range, it'd be okay. We just don't want to see the club way out there or way across the line. Now, here's a way I've got this plane station here. This is a great way to kind of train the hands and arms as it relates to being steep or shallow in the golf swing. So we just talked about pushing the hands out in the takeaway, but we want to talk about how the hands can persuade the path of the arms as well. So the idea of this here is to take a swing and to avoid the noodle. So if you have the tendency of picking your arms up, you'll hit this noodle. And then if you have the tendency of being really flat, then you're not going to be anywhere close to this noodle. So ideally, we want to have this thing set up to where we can make a swing and be relatively close to it, but not actually touch it. So for the golfer who has a tendency of pushing out, picking their arms up, this is going to be a little bit more beneficial for you because you'll have this instant feedback of just nailing this noodle on the way back. If you do have the tendency of pulling your arms in, I would still set this up and actually use this as an object you're trying to work towards. So if I have this issue here, I may actually feel like I'm taking some swings where I'm trying to get closer to this. If you actually hit it, then you know you've done it too much, but that would be a good way to train this new motor pattern if you've had that problem. But definitely a good way to make some swings if you pick the arms up, to just swing it and avoid hitting this. It's a great way to provide some instant feedback. So those are the four terms again: inside, outside, steep, and flat. So just kind of unbox those a little bit more. give you a little bit more information on what they exactly mean as far as it relates to the club and relates to the hands, because you can be inside with the hands and steep with the shaft, or you can be outside with the hands and flat with the shaft. So we use them interchangeably, but to understand what part of the swing is doing what is a key element when it comes to improving your golf swing and improving your game.